Our next speaker, Mr. Bernd Rossbach, Director, Interpol. Mr. Rossbach is representing Interpol today, the co-host of this event. He's the Interpol Director for Specialized Crime and Analysis. He is a career law enforcement officer with the BKA in Germany. Holding the rank of Criminal Director, he has managed various operational units, specializing in serious crimes, undercover operations, and drug investigations. Mr. Rossbach.
Thank you very much, very kind. Distinguished delegates, dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It gives me a great pleasure to welcome you today to the Interpol Firearm Forensic Symposium, which we elected to host here in this great city of Montreal, a most important center of commerce, aerospace, finance, pharmaceuticals, design, culture, tourism, film, world affairs, technology, and last but no means least, the hometown of Forensic Technologies headquarters, Interpol's truly and most sincerely formidable partner in this area of crime solving. For those of you who are natives of Montreal, let me add, merci pour votre accueil chaleureux dans votre belle ville. The last IFF Symposium was held at Interpol's General Secretariat in Lyon in February 2011, with over 240 policymakers, police and forensic science practitioners in attendance from nearly 80 countries. The most recent list of participants would put today's symposium at around the same level, with more than 300 delegates ranging from forensic experts to law enforcement professionals coming from 65 countries. You have traveled long and far from distant Australia and Azerbaijan, from Chile and Paraguay, from Denmark and Austria, from South Africa and Algeria, from across Canada and the United States, to name but some. Indeed, when I went over the list of participants, it was as impressive as the recent Heads of National Center Bureau Interpol conference, which we held in Lyon a few weeks back, and certainly as diverse and representative of the many countries, the many continents we live on. Thank you for spending the money and taking the time to come here. We will strive to make it worthwhile endeavor. Interpol, and you saw it in the video, is the world's largest international police organization with 190 member countries. Interpol's mandate is to facilitate cross-border police cooperation and to support and assist all organizations, authorities, and services whose mission is to prevent or combat international crime. We work to ensure that police around the world have access to the tools and services necessary to do their job effectively. In this context, firearm-related crime is a key crime area in which Interpol provides this facilitation and support through the Interpol Firearms Program. Now, I'm not going to talk to you about why firearm-related crime presents constant challenges for law enforcement organizations across the globe. You already know. That's why you've chosen to be here today. Instead, I want to focus on what it is that Interpol as an organization is doing to address firearm-related crime and how and where it fits in with this symposium's agenda and your work in the field in your respective countries. The mission of Interpol Firearms Program is to facilitate effective international police cooperation among Interpol member countries to prevent or combat firearm-related crime and thereby to contribute to public safety and security internationally. To support Interpol's member countries to meet these challenges, the Interpol firearms program needs to maintain a clear vision of our role and direction, in line with the priorities of the organization. Towards this end, we have established 3 strategic priorities, which are set up in IPSG's strategic plan for the 3-year period ending December 2015. We will provide dedicated communication tools on the I-24/7 system to enable all national center bureaus, our NCBs, along with other authorized law enforcement agencies and their strategic partners, to engage with each other and to instantly access, request, and submit vital data and intelligence on firearm-related crime and its associated criminals. We are committed to enhancing the tools and services that we provide to assist in the area of firearm law enforcement training and in the raising of standards in international policing to combat firearm-related crime. And we will work with partners and stakeholders to build the capacity of police in countries in need and to empower them to respond effectively to the challenges of transnational firearm-related crime. We will provide the highest quality database services, analytical capabilities, and other innovative tools to assist in preventing firearm-related crime, as well as assisting in the identification, location, and arrest of criminals involved in the conduct and perpetration of such crime. Our objectives and activities will center on improving the quality and quantity of information in our databases, enhancing investigative and analytical capabilities, developing a global approach to integrated border management, and actively supporting member countries in locating and apprehending fugitives and other transnational criminals. In regard to the challenges, I only want to give those examples, the more daunting ones that we face. For instance, the lack of standardized national processes and procedures for firearm-related crime investigations, limited access to the firearm tools available on I-24/7 outside the NCBs, which can impede law enforcement cooperation, limited firearm crime-specific networking opportunities between partners and stakeholders, which can hinder the ability for the right people to connect in a timely and easy manner. Lack of detailed understanding and of data on firearm crime trends and global challenges at the local and regional levels, which can limit the efficacy of counter-strategies. It is our mission as citizens, law enforcement, and the private sector to seize upon opportunities which are within our reach. By increasing political attention to the role of firearms in violent crime and in fueling international organized crime and terrorism. By introducing modern technology which facilitates the easy and rapid transfer of information and intelligence, and by improving accuracy in the identification of firearms, which is leading to significant improvements in international firearm tracing and, more broadly, law enforcement outcomes. National, regional, and international actions to identify and eradicate firearm-related crime rely upon the prompt and timely communication of relevant information by law enforcement agencies and, in particular, effective international firearm tracing. These activities require close cooperation between a broad range of organizations such as police, customs, border protection agencies, and regulatory services. I know that there are many representatives from our national central bureaus present here today, and I trust that they will be familiar with what I am about to say. There was a major development on the international scene since the last IFS meeting in Lyon, in that the 80th General Assembly of Interpol, which gathered in Hanoi, Vietnam, in autumn 2011, adopted a resolution which encouraged member countries to make optimal use of the tools developed under Interpol's firearms program. The resolution recognized that traditional trusted methods, including firearm identification and tracing, remain effective and essential for investigating, solving, and preventing crimes, and that ongoing advances in ballistic technologies have provided police with new and otherwise unknown opportunities to prevent and solve crime involving firearms. It equally emphasized that international cooperation is critical to effectively investigate crime involving firearms and to thwart transnational and international trade in illicit firearms. While recognizing that Interpol has and is developing and improving tools and processes to facilitate international cooperation for identifying and tracing illicit firearms, investigating transnational and international firearms trafficking, and criminal misuse of illicit firearms, the 80th Interpol General Assembly strongly urged member countries to fully use existing and future Interpol tools for firearms investigation, identification, tracing, and cooperation. Finally, it was requested that where possible, national center bureaus authorize and promote the extension of direct access to Interpol's I-24/7 communication system to dedicated national firearms units or other units whose responsibility is to investigate crimes involving firearms in conformity with the rules on the processing of data. There has been remarkable progress made towards developing and implementing the Secretariat's part of the adopted resolution over the past 2 years. You will hear a detailed report on our progress on this front on day 3 of this symposium, so I will not wade into these waters here and now. Nonetheless, I do wish to point out that the work completed so far by the Firearms Unit has been remarkable and has received the acclaim of Interpol's Executive Committee, which met in March earlier this year, and from the Interpol Heads of NCB's conference, which met only a few weeks ago. Under the new leadership of Jeffrey Sterling, who replaced a fellow colleague, Mrs. Tracy Hyde from ATF in the United States, and with the support of our partners, Interpol has developed a wide-ranging integrated approach to firearms crime. I'm talking here specifically about our Interpol Firearms Reference Table, IFRT, the Interpol Illicit Arms Records and Tracing Management System, IARMS, training modules, and the Interpol Ballistic Information Network, IBIN. IBIN will be at the heart of this symposium for these days. Our tools and services are already being tested by some of our members with a certain degree of success, details of which you will hear later on in the symposium when Spain and Portugal have the floor. Ladies and gentlemen, I will conclude my opening remarks with just a few words of thanks and appreciation to our staff who have succeeded in gathering the best available expertise around the world, such as that represented today in this room. Well done. Please allow me also once again to thank Mr. Walsh and Forensic Technology for receiving us in Montreal and for all the work that went into organizing this event. My thanks also to all the other representatives from the private sector and our international partners here with us today. Thank you very much indeed for your attention.